Okay, here we are entering Jokkmokk from where we live, not toward. If you were coming south from Jalavari, that's what you would see. Here we are in Jokkmokk looking westward down the main street. And there's the snowplow. And here's Hotel Jokkmokk, where people who visit us often stay when they're coming here. And we're still driving around in Jokkmokk here. And there's the main sign that points toward Jalavari, which is where you want to go. And when you take that turn off toward Jalavari, you wind up here on Lake Vikyar, which was hit during a beautiful sunset period in the early afternoon. The sun had been up maybe an hour. And that shows the distant mountains up toward Norway there in the far distance. We often go up near those mountains because there's a beautiful waterfall there and sort of a national park thing. And this lake is frozen. You can see a little bit of a snow scooter trail there. Just past that point is the dam at Jokkmokk, which has been painted by a local artist whom we are actually personally acquainted with, named Lars Pirak. The electrical people knew the dam was highly unpopular among the Sami, so they hired a local Sami artist to give it Sami decorations. And again, that's Vikyar Lake, which has been backed up by the dam. Those are trees being zoomed in on, in case you didn't recognize them. And more trees in the distance. There it is. The figure on the left is that of a Noid shaman representation. I don't remember what the figure on the right represents. And there's a reindeer representation. And that's a Sami god. And another Noid. And reindeer herders doing their thing. So this was supposed to really turn on the Sami people that the dam's okay. But they didn't agree. In fact, they've sabotaged it, actually wrecked it a couple of times so it don't run, even since these pictures were made to excite them that the dam's a Sami thing. And so all this has a lot of local political tension in it. But the pictures are fabulous. We really like them. In fact, we've taken photographs of these particular figures we're looking at here and copied them and put them up in our house as on our walls as actual same pictures. That represents one of their meat-saving things where the bears can't get at it because it's up in the air. It's actually much taller in reality than in the depiction there. But that's a very Sami thing. And again, a kota or Sami teepee. There's Losh Pirok's own signature on there. There was another famous Swedish artist, I forget his name, who worked on the dam with him. And there's the sign of the turnoff to Quickhook. If we kept going straight, we'd wind up in Jalavari. But this is where you turn off toward our place right here. And you don't take long to get to Vikyar, the town, right here, which is just a few little houses strewn along the road there, like you see. You're on your way to Björkuden. Okay, now we're leaving Vikyar and heading down the highway. Off to the right over there, you can just barely make out sometimes another frozen lake. I think it's Kitteluden, I'm not sure. That lake there is very pretty when it's just water and blue and you're going by it. Okay, we're actually looking back down the road toward Jokkmokk, and there in the distance is Kitteluden, which is a kind of bed and breakfast place run by some Samis who are descendants of the great Noid shaman Henrik Kuminen. And they have a very nice outlook there over their lake, which we were just talking about. Well, we're really in deep Lapland now. And here we come, and guess what? There it is. The sign that signifies us. And we're just about there. All right, there's our trash bins. And we're turning in to our driveway, which is signified by the fact that it's been plowed. Now we're looking back toward the direction there of Jokkmokk. There's the crossroads where about halfway down our drive, and that machine there is the one that we were just using to repair some pipe on our property. And fortunately, the ground hadn't frozen so badly that we couldn't dig it up because it's been very warm. And there you were. That's our main drive coming from the road there. And there's one. That's Woody Jack, one of our little Saivo art things. Now we're getting very close to our driveway into the house. Yeah, there's our sign. Björkuden Arts and Crafts in both Swedish and English. That's our garage you're looking at there. That's our barn, which is basically a storage area right now. And there's the main driveway going back up to the highway. You can see all the birch trees, and that's how it became birch or Björk Uden or isthmus right here. That's the barn again. And that's a chadder. Chadder is what they call in Scotland a capercaillie bird. And this guy wanted to be filmed, and so here he is. And they make very good eating. They don't have much of white meat like a turkey or a chicken. It's all dark, more pheasant-like in taste. But it's considered a great gift in Lapland to give someone the present of a chadder for cooking. And so we've had this to eat a couple of times. It's also an interesting bird in that it depicts the bird of freedom here in Lapland, which we'll maybe talk about a little bit in a moment. But there he is. He's showing off for the cameras. He knows he's on television. It might be a she, but something tells me it's a he. Is it a he? Yeah. Someone has decided to film him for a long time, and so we're going to sit here and watch this chadder bird. Okay. This is looking sort of southeast from our house area. There's the garage again with our big moose we call Ferdinand on there. And there it is, home. And then the road continues on past toward our neighbor, who is somewhere down in those trees down there. Now we're looking directly south. And there's our woodshed, which is disappearing. And there's the road back to the highway. You can see, just make out one of our little deer figures. Oh, who's this here? Well, hi there. Yeah, there they are. We got called out there, and now here she comes. This is Lily going along there, and she don't mind being filmed. And there's that guy sweeping the snow off our snow scooter so he can go out and make films and run after the reindeers and the mooses and everything. And there's our bird of freedom. That dark bird creature on the white tree form is a representation that the Samis make of chadders. And that's the back of our house. And on that ledge right under the big window there is where we put reindeer fodder, and we've built a little platform just below it so they can stand up where it's green there and get up high enough to be able to eat the stuff. And there's our little bird feeders. And we feed maybe 50, 60 birds at a time on there during the summer. Even now, there's sometimes 20 or 10 or 20 birds on there. Yeah, and Lake Reindeer that we live on, in another one of our storage buildings. And there, guess what? There's the little roe deers, and they're eating the feed there where we put it. And there's some more little roe deers going back toward the forest, because something startled them up there on the deer feeder. And so when they get startled, this is what they do. They just kind of drift off and guard themselves from encountering anything. See, the snow is fairly deep on the lake there, so they have to kind of make an effort. Now they've calmed down and are coming back toward the feeder because they figure it's safe. You can see there's some more coming. They're all coming from the forest to the north of us, across the lake. Now they're looking to see if it's okay. There they go. They're hungry, and they've decided that all this is worthwhile. Those ones are heading toward next door because they've decided it might be safer to eat over there at our neighbor's place. Sometimes they head that way because other reindeer coming from the other way, not reindeer, but other deers coming from the other way have called out to these. They are in two groups, one that's south of us and one group north. And so this is the south group. And it looks like they're heading toward the north group. And there is a bunch of them on our feeder. That's an old wellhead there, actually, that we've turned into a deer table. And this is looking out from inside my study at how it looks outside. That's where the deers come up and feed, and you can see them right through the window. We tried to get a shot of them doing that, but it just wasn't going to happen right now. Maybe later on some of those will come to the ledge under the window. They're coming around there. We love watching these guys out our window. And they're just little things. They're maybe a meter high at the back. This is one of the deers contemplating whether or not to come over our way toward the ledge. And there's some more that are just kind of figuring out what they're going to do next. See, something startled them a little there. That's what they do. They're always ready to run if something looks dangerous. You can see one eating the snow there. That's how they slake their thirst, is by eating snow. First they have a meal and then they eat snow. And they're real cute when they've been eating snow because they get the... This guy has a name. We call him Reggie. This film was taken at a different time. And he's definitely heading toward the ledge. He's a big male among these, and somewhat of a rogue. You often find him by himself. And so he'll come by himself to the ledge and eat when no others will be there or follow him. You can't really notice it on here, but he's just starting to grow his horns a little. All the little males have the beginnings of this year's horns. You know, every year they drop their horns and then grow them again. Same is true with reindeers and mooses and such. A lot of people don't know that these creatures drop their horns every year and regrow them. And when they first grow out, they're kind of rubbery and covered with velvet. And then later, when the horns begin to really solidify, they themselves rub the velvet off of them and sharpen them up for battle and so on. When the males fight with the males over the females and such. Okay, Reggie is definitely making his circular approach toward the window ledge. He's being very stealthy. He's watching it, see? And he's looking if there's any trouble. You know, like Peter, who's holding the camera, might come running at him or something and shoot him. You know, he's got to be careful. There's the bird feeder and a nice jaybird on it. He's on his way. He's very near now. You can picture yours truly just inside there waiting to watch him eat there. Now this is a big step. Does he get up on that step to eat or not? Yes. There he is. But he's not eating on the ledge. He's eating stuff falling off the... Now he's going to eat. Okay, this is a jaybird on one of our other bird feeders over near Peter's office. That's a woodpecker. And the jaybird has just come and butted out the woodpecker. But we got lots of these guys around here, even in the wintertime. There's about 6 jays that eat on the big feeder. There was a little, what is called a tit, just landed there for a moment. And these woodpeckers, they're a bit goofy. The jays are well fed and they got nice colors there. And they're actually quite sweet little birds, the jays. He seems quite aware that he's being filmed. He reminds me a little of that Chada who was acting up for the film. No, he knows that he's being connected with. There's another one up in the tree there. And Peter is filming a squirrel that he often feeds just beside his window in his office. And these squirrels are red squirrels. They're not actually gray squirrels. But in the winter, the coat turns rather gray because of the cold. And so that's his winter coat. When it comes spring, he'll start shedding that, and the whole thing will be red. Oh, and there's another one coming there to eat coconut. Mostly, all these guys will eat is the bird seed, the sunflower seeds. But this guy, he likes the coconut, and so we're okay. Where? If you look there in the distance, you can see the female moose that we've been entertaining here. That's Jenny. There's another one of her. This is just southeast of our house. And so that's very nearby. And you can see how her stomach is all swollen. We believe she's pregnant from the other male moose who's been around here a lot, who we call Jake. So we believe this is a pregnant moose sneaking around there. And some mornings we would open the back door of the house and these two would be just standing out there not far away, eating the twigs. These guys eat dry twigs all winter. And we've tried giving them other food and they don't even want it. They just prefer their twigs. They eat off the bushes. Like those bushes right there in the foreground there. They'll come and eat the twigs and just fill themselves up with it, and somehow they get nutriment from that. And so that's a real live Lapland moose, or what the Swedes call elja, plural eljar, meaning several mooses. And that's what they do when they know you're around. They kind of stay behind the trees a lot, and like there's nobody here but us trees. They're stealthy in that respect. Even though she's huge and stands out in an unmistakable way. But look at there. See, look how she blends herself with the trees. Okay, this is Peter now going out on his snow scooter toward where she was, just past the barn. The house is behind him. And this is the nearby forest on that side of our house. And he's going to come out here and check our moose feeders, which are mainly salt lick that we're putting out that the mooses do eat. The Swedish moose hunters will often put out salt lick for the mooses just to get them to come around there so they can shoot them, because mooses need salt. And there's one of our salt lick places right there, with a couple of slices of bread that they never ate. And this is the main. That was the main one right there, that with a big loaf of bread stuck on it that they never wanted. Oh, looky here. That's reindeer. There was a big group of reindeer there. And that's not far from the salt lick because they themselves were attacking the salt lick. Now somebody owns these reindeer, and we think we know who. One of our near neighbors in the area of Reindeer. Peter's looking for a more clear shot at him here. There they are. So they're wild and yet domesticated, a kind of paradoxical state. That guy there that just moved behind the tree, we feel that we recognize him as a personal acquaintance of ours, that in the summer, a couple summers ago, he was coming onto our property every day. So we gave him a name, Blackaroo Bonsai, or just Blackie. And we became very acquainted with that particular reindeer. And we believe that's him who's actually leading this group around. We think that's maybe one of the reasons this group is here, is because of Blackie there. And the one moving just behind him to the left, we think is his companion, who we named Creamy. And so we sort of believe that's Blackie and Creamy there. Kind of like old reindeer friends of ours. They're paying us a visit. Yeah, they're curious about being filmed here. And there's Blackie. And he hasn't dropped his horns yet from this year. So that'll be happening pretty soon, and then he'll start growing his new set. So those horns are about to fall. Yeah, we think that's Creamy now, just prancing behind him there. Yeah. Creamy was a bit smaller a couple of years ago. He was not full grown, but now he is. That's a beautiful reindeer with a shaggy neck on him right there. So obviously Blackie and Creamy are in the lead, and these guys are all following. Look at the color in this guy. That's a beautiful reindeer. I like that one. If we saw him more, we'd give him a name. The local reindeer herders often name some of their deers, like the ones that are more favorite to them. And occasionally someone in the family is given a reindeer as a personal reindeer and gets a name. So some of these might already have names given by their owners. Now, I think we're in the same area more or less, headed back toward the house. No, not yet. No, what's happened here is that Peter's gone a little further out to get some more film of these reindeer. He's decided to bypass. We often take long walks out in this area, but it's a little bit heavy with snow right now. And now we're back on the driveway going toward the house, having filmed reindeer. And Peter's lucky he hasn't wrecked his snow scooter already, because he's filming with one hand and driving with the other. But it does give you the sensation of riding on a snow scooter. And that's some artwork we made ourselves from a Sami depiction of one of their boats with figures on it. And here we are. This is not really that late at night. It's about, what time would it be? Maybe 4 in the afternoon. So that's 4 in the afternoon, and right in the deep middle of winter in Lapland in December, January. You can see our bird feeder over there sticking up, and there's a wonderful shot of Peter's van in our garage, in the front porch where we put up our Christmas lights, which we keep on pretty much most of the time, because it's so dark and gloomy here this time of year that we like having lots of lights up. So there it is. And there's our Christmas tree just there. The deer feeder table is on the other side of that Christmas tree. And the lights are actually more colorful than they look in the film. The film, for some reason, isn't registering the full color of the light bulbs on a tree. So it looks a little bit more colorful that in real life. And you can see we put some lights on our Bird of Freedom display there. That's our sauna, where that is. Right inside that building is where we